like to talk to you guys to see if anybody in this beautiful room of glorious people would like to shout out something that you did in what I'm calling a moment of madness in the last few years. We'll section you off to make it slightly easier. Let me give you an example. There was a man a few months ago. I said, what did you do in a moment of madness in the last few years? He said he'd bought a butter churn. And I love the sheer panic he clearly had. What if we run out of butter? I asked him how many times he'd used it. He said just the once, because it turns out it makes a fuckload of butter. I think the easiest way to talk to you guys is in the sections you're sort of already in. So we'll start at the top, we'll work our way down the room. So that lovely upstairs section. Anybody in that upstairs section want to shout out something you did in a moment of madness in the last few years? Anybody want to start us off?
Got engaged.
Okay, we'll come back to this one. Hold. Well, there's so much to talk about. Quite a lot to unpack. Lady over here, shout out again.
Had a baby.
You had a baby. Is it your first baby?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it also your last baby?
Yes. Oh, God.
Somebody else answered.
That's my aunt.
It's who?
My aunt.
Your aunt. Does your aunt do a lot of babysitting by any chance?
She does indeed. She lives up the road.
She lives up the road. Who moved into the street first, though?
I did.
She's proper arsey, isn't she? I love it. And then she was like, I'm pregnant. I'm going to move in near my aunt. This is genius. What did you have, a girl or a boy?
Baby boy.
A baby boy. Never mind. You can try again for the proper ones. No, it's fine. Girls are better. It's just a fact. Did you have your baby during the time when it was really scary in the hospitals, my love?
It's always scary having a baby.
Is it? I've had some terrifying shits in my time. I really have. I had one once, while we're sharing, where I felt like it was kind of like giving birth, because there was a really wide bit of it, and I was like, oh, we've got the shoulders past, we're all right. But I appreciate it is always scary. Round of applause for the lady with the new baby. Lovely. We had somebody else over this side. Shout out again.
Got engaged.
How long had you been with your partner before the proposal?
4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
One woman went, The rest of you are like, seems fair enough. Just one woman really spoke for the group, didn't she? It's reasonable. And who proposed to who?
He proposed to me.
Is this him beside you there?
Yeah. No.
Hold on. Did you say yes, look at him, and then say no? Is that what happened there? Yes. Oh, no. Who is this beside you?
Jason.
Jason. Well, who is he to you?
Fiancé.
Oh, you was with it, you? I thought you said no. No. So, Jason, you proposed to your good lady. Was it a very romantic proposal, my love?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And she went, no. Can you tell me where it happened? What happened?
I slapped him round the face.
You slapped him round the face before or after the proposal? Is that what inspired it? Is he into that sort of dirty shit, is he? Just a really good crack, and he was like, fucking hell, marry me. That was amazing. Now do me ball bag. Oh. He's nodding. He's not. I'm just taking the piss. Have you got kids? Have you got animals? What's the situation at home?
We've got kids, but not with each other.
Okay. Kids, but not with each other. Well, not if you keep slapping his ball bag. He's got no fucking chance, has he? Just be empty and dry in there. Round of applause for the happy couple. And we had somebody else upstairs. Do you want to shout it again?
A lightsaber. It was a nerd sort of impulse buy.
A nerd impulse buy. You've got your reasons already ready, haven't you? Just... Why don't you think... You think I would think it was a bad thing? It sounds fucking awesome. Now, it's not a real one, though. No. So what happens when you press... It can't shoot out, but what... Stop it. Somebody's laughing over there, behind there.
It's 3D printed.
It's 3D printed? No offence, mate, but it sounds shit. Does it turn on then? I don't really understand anything about 3D printers. Does it turn on?
It's more of a display piece.
More of a display piece? We're picturing your flat now, aren't we? Have you got anything else on display?
I don't know, ask her.
Ask her? I mean, we're all surprised you've got a girlfriend. Actually, I can't say it. Might be his mum. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? I love that you bought yourself a lightsaber. Well fucking done. Round of applause for the Star Wars fan. Good work. Upstairs. Middle section. Anybody want to shout out something you did in a moment of madness?
Got a hot tub.
Oh, you see, have the confidence. A couple of people upstairs. All of a sudden, bah, 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 bah. There's somebody over here. Shout it again.
Got a hot tub.
You got a hot tub?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you? So, how many people does it sit?
4.
4. You know that, don't you, as well? You've had friends round. Oh no, just the neighbours.
I got it from Lidl and I went in for milk.
You got it from Lidl and you only went in for milk. That's incredible. You should be on the advert for Lidl. They come in for milk, go home with, somewhere to have sex with your neighbours. Is this your partner?
Single.
You're single. He's definitely had people in that hot tub, hasn't he? Do you just sometimes sit in it on your own?
Do you know all my friends get in it? I don't.
I don't believe him, do you know? I've got a question for you. I don't know. I genuinely don't know the answer to this. In a hot tub, maybe everybody else can answer. I suspect you know, but maybe other people know as well. In a hot tub, does jizz mix in? I don't know. Does it mix in, or does it go stringy goldfish poos? Go in with a little, a tiddly net and just try and catch it. Yeah, tell me.
As you would say, it gets claggy.
It gets claggy. I love that you know, and you're acknowledging that you know. Well, I hope you meet somebody very soon you can sit in your hot tub with. Round of applause for the lovely fella. Thank you. Anybody downstairs want to shout out something you did in a moment of madness?
I left my husband.
You left your husband. How long had you been married, my lovely?
25 years.
20... Oh! It's gone a bit panto in here, hasn't it? Ooh. 25 years, that's incredible. Are you officially divorced? Have you been through your absolute and all of that?
Not yet. January.
January? It's going to be a good fucking day, isn't it? So you left him?
I did.
Yes, and is he still in the house that you were in together?
He is.
Yeah, and have you got yourself a fancy lady pad?
All over it. I've got.
You're all over it. You got a sexy pad, have you? I don't mean... We're sort of that age, you and I. And congratulations. And I don't know, I'm divorced and then remarried. I don't know if you all know, everybody, we've all had breakups and, especially significant relationships. I don't know if you've been through this phase yet. I feel like you might have done. There's a phase you go through when you get divorced or you end a relationship. There's a phase you go through where you can't sleep. And what you do, this is a tip if anybody's getting there or they're about to dump somebody significant, maybe who's sitting beside them tonight. What a great day. It's a tip. If you can't sleep, what you do is you have a big cry, you have a wank, you have a magnum, you go back to bed, sleep like a baby. I choose to keep the wank and the magnum separate, but it's up to you. I don't know. It's up to you. Well, congratulations and have a great day on your absolute day. Round of applause for the fantastic lady. Good answers. Very good answers tonight. Let me tell you a couple of my favourite ones. There was a lady in Birmingham. I said, what do you do in a moment of madness? She said, my lodger. And by way of explanation, she went, well, he's Greek. I don't know what that means. Fair enough. I said, do you still live with him now? She said, yes. I said, are you in a relationship with him? She said, no. I said, well done you. You've had this fling, you've got past it, you've been such adults about it. She said, oh no, it's still going on. I said, did he cut his rent a bit? She said, actually, no, I put it up. Another one I liked was in Liverpool. A lady said, I said, what do you do in a moment of madness? She said, I've started drinking wine out of a mug. Which didn't sound that mad to me, but then she said, no, during important work meetings on Zoom. She said, the trick is you get the bit of string and the paper off a herbal tea bag and you drape it over the side of your mug. She's a fucking genius is what she is. When we first started going out, we weren't really even girlfriend and boyfriend. It was really early days in our relationship. We decided to go away on a dirty weekend. Give us a cheer if you've ever been on a dirty weekend. There's a lot of you, but there will be more of you, but you will have just realised that it wasn't with the person you're sitting beside. I'd never been on a dirty weekend. I didn't know what sorts of things you're supposed to take. Let's get some suggestions from you guys. Let's start at the top, because that worked well last time. Anybody in the top level want to shout out what you think you'd take on a... God, I haven't even finished the fucking sentence, love. There's a lady said handcuffs. What kind of handcuffs? Furry. There was last time I was working in Newcastle, a lady was on this level and she shouted out, handcuffs, like that. And I said, oh, have you got the heavy duty ones or the fluffy ones? And she said, I'm not telling you that, I'm sitting beside me, ma'am. You still shouted out fucking handcuffs. There was a fella the other day, he shouted out a bag of lube, and I was like, I'm pretty sure it comes in a tube. I imagined it being like an Asda bag for life, and he just dipped himself in every now and again. Anybody else upstairs want to shout? A rabbit. Oh, sorry. I thought for a minute I was like, moo. You mean, yeah, because I was in Cheltenham and 3 people shouted out rabbit one after the other, and I thought, fucking hell, Chaz and Dave are in. Next level down, upper circle. Anybody got a suggestion what you take on a dirty weekend?
Anal beads.
Where are you? Where's... Hello, Flower. Anal beads. Wow. Have you... Why am I whispering? I'm in the microphone. Nobody else is listening, Flower. Have you got anal beads?
I've got plenty of things.
Okay. I've got loads of things. I've got, handbag and that. Is that the most extreme thing you've got, love?
No.
Didn't think it was. Now tell me about anal beads. They go up your arsehole. I figured that bit out myself. Can you still wear them as jewellery after that, though? Yes. Just make sure you've always got brown earrings in and you're fine. Anybody else in the top 2 sections?
Willy warmers.
A willy warmer. Why is it going to be so cold? I feel sad for the willy, do you? I mean, there is some way you could keep it warm, love. That's not an offer. Fuck, that sounded like a date. Why would you take a willy warmer, love?
Mine's always cold.
Mine's always cold. Have you tried just giving it a good roll? Let's come down the grand circle, anybody?
Cucumber.
A cucumber? Fuck you, I'm not taking salad. section? Cake. Where are you, love? Now you're fucking talking. Now, is the cake for eating or like for... I don't know what that was. I was going to say smearing, but that feels like a really bad word. Smearing. Is the cake for smearing or for eating, love? Everything, or a little bit of both. I like that. There was a lady the other day said chocolate body paint, and I said, well, only if I can paint it on my palms and lick it off myself, because I'm not fucking sharing. No, you stay where you are, love. No, it's definitely you making me do those noises. There was another lady shouting, shout again, love. Bread. A friend. Bread. It was a couple of weeks ago, somebody shouted out creme fraiche, and I thought, ooh. And then when I got off stage, she sent me a message on Twitter saying, no, I said femme fraiche. Oh. Anybody else in that section?
Ball gag.
A ball gag? That's something you haven't got, isn't it, love? There was a lady said, bondage gear. And I said, do you tie your partner up or does your partner tie you up? And she said, I tie him up and then I fuck off. Now let's do the rest of the boxes. And anybody downstairs got a suggestion what you take on a dirty weekend? What was that? Hold on. A what? A blow... Did you really say a blowtorch? In case you fancied a creme brulee? And was there another one over here? Where's the Viagra? Where did you... That you there? Oh, how you doing? You all right, love? Does that work for you? That's how she was made. Has she just found out as well, or? Oh, look at her, she's mortified. So is it, lovely girl, hello, is it good to know that your dad had a proper all weekend? 2 nights in a row. What about the bit, like the daytime? Is it like that through the day as well? Or, you know, how'd you get your clothes on? You just push it down, and then does it like boing? I'm always disappointed they don't do that noise. Boing. Wow. It was Butlins. Viagra at Butlins. Sounds like a Mills and Boone, doesn't it? There was a lady said crotchless pants, and I thought, well, I've often got a hole in, but it's never in the right place. But one thing you've forgotten as well is if you're going to take your rabbit, if you're going to take you've got to take batteries. You've got to take spare batteries because you don't want to turn into wow. Wow. All I'm doing now is stirring it. I rang my fella before we went away, and I said to him, I've been to family planning, and he must have thought this isn't going to be sexy at all. I said, I've got us some condoms because I'd heard they were free there, and I love a bargain. And he said, well, that's good. I said, I've got 36. Do you think that'll be enough? And quick as a flash, he just went, well, you can leave 32 of them at home. And I thought, that's still 4, though, isn't it? And he went, well, use 2 of those for water balloons. It's good to know that he had activities planned, though. Let me ask you guys a question. Shout out anybody in the room who's ever broken anything during sex. Oh, takes a bit of settling. What did... Yeah, you broke something? Where were you? Lamp. A lamp or a lamb? Where are you, love? Where are you? There you are. Hello, love. It was a lamp. What kind of lamp?
It had a ceramic base to it.
Ooh, a ceramic base. Ooh. And was it like movement and it just toppled off, or?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. Did anybody get hurt or was it all right?
No, it's all fine.
It was all right. So we've got a lamp stroke lamb from the lady over there. Lamp is a good answer. Thank you very much. What else we got? A bed. Where are you, love? Hello, Flower. Up there. And you broke a bed. Was it fixable or did you have to buy a new one? You got a new one. Okay, there's lots of giggling going on there. Let's have a look. Is it the partner that you're with? Well, I mean, sorry, but if you sit in couples like that, I'm going to make assumptions about you, Flower. So it's this lady here, the one that's looking desperately like she wishes she wasn't here. So did you insist on the new bed? Was it a chance to get a new bed? It was at uni, and the landlord said you had to buy a new bed. Did he come in and inspect it? Did you lose your bond? That's what happens, isn't it, when you fuck a bed to death? Somebody's going to have to go. Was anybody hurt, or was it all right? It was fine. So we've got a bed, thank you very much, couple who love sitting next to each other so much. We've got a bed and we've got a lamp. What else we got?
A dessert table.
A dinner table. Who said a dinner table? A bird table. Were you the bird on the table? What did you say? Shout it louder.
Dessert table.
A dessert table. All of my tables are dessert tables. I'm just guessing, but are you quite posh? Well, this is for the bruschetta. Then we move over here, and we've got, I don't know, sausage and mash, I don't know. I can't even think of a posh main course. Did you say coq au vin? Fucking surprise! He's got it on the fucking brain. Do you really have a table just for desserts? Yes. Oh, you worked in a restaurant. So you're really not posh. No. And did it have... Why were you having sex at work? I like that there's at least 60% of the room going, my sex life is rubbish. So, was the restaurant still open? Were people, like, trying to get the jelly and ice cream from round you and that?
We were
Under the dessert table. Don't I feel like a proper tit now? See, if it was me, I'd want to be in, like, writhing in amongst it. And then I'd just go, you know what, fella, I don't really need you. Oh, creme brulee. See, I thought of a posh pudding. Yes. Did you get caught? No. Well, now everybody knows because it's on a DVD, isn't it? You'll be like, I think I used to work in Nando's with her. Dessert table is a good answer. Thank you very much, love. What else we got? There was... A what? A rear view mirror. Okay, there's lots of questions here. Hello, by the way. Was the car moving? No. Okay, that's safety first. Got to get that out of the way. Was it knocked off with an arse by any chance? You think so? Did you not notice till you were trying to drive away? There's something not right. No, it's not the spunk in me hair. It's that's normal. It's Tuesdays. Can't seem to see behind me. You've still got it in the cleft of your arse, love. Now, did it shear off or just unclip? Because you can slot them back in, can't you? Apparently. Shut up. Did it? It was quite an old car. Oh, you're classy, aren't you? Having sex in an old car. Well done. Was it through the day?
No.
No, obviously. I look at you like, what do you think, I am some kind of monster? I don't know, anybody else? you know how everybody talks about dogging and everything, and I don't know anybody who does it. Maybe I do. But every time I see two cars together, I just go, dogging. Just automatically. One of them sometimes is an RAC van. Dogging. No, they're not. So a rear view mirror is a very good answer. Thank you, Flower. We got anybody else? Blood vessels. We've gone all the way from lamp to blood vessels. Where were the blood vessels? You thought he was dribbling on you? We need to know the rest, otherwise I'll not sleep. Just put your fingers in your ears if you're already feeling a bit sick. Did you just say you've all been there? Too much dribble. It's a telltale sign, pet. You turned the lamp on and he looked like a butcher's slab. You looked like a butcher's slab. He was champion. He was ready for the next go. So, yes, it would be a passion killer. If it wasn't a passion killer, there's something wrong with you. So you didn't actually work out where the blood came from? It was his nose. But it could have been a lot worse, because probably the most painful one I've had so far, a man said he'd broken his banjo string. It's about cocks, you should like this one. Slapping them and that. No. If you don't know what a banjo string is, you should just Google it when you get in. I'm not going to tell you, I'm not your mum. It shouldn't be your mum that ever tells you that. Now, things you need to know. What can snap on a cock? Noise when you say banjo string, though, and a lot of the people in the room know what it is, and other people are going, why was he playing a banjo? I don't get it. Doesn't sound very sexy to me. It's not a sexy instrument. Thank you very much for that, Flower. God, I hope everybody's all right now. Jesus Christ. There was a man, actually, I did a show and a man shouted out that he'd broken his foot during sex, and I said, did you carry on or did you stop? And he said, carried on. And I recognised his accent, he was a Geordie, and I thought he probably didn't even put his fucking pie down. But I know it's a very personal question, and I'm grateful to those of you who did join in, thank you very much. What sometimes happens is people go, I'm not going to tell her in front of all those people, but I'll send her an email when I get in. And I'm like, oh, I've got an email, Although I have got a man who sorts my website out, so he actually filters my emails. Mainly because I'm not very technical, but also because for a while I was getting loads of pictures of men's cocks just sent to me. And now he can print them off so I can put them on the wall. Just as a border, it's not too much. Would you like to sleep in the cock room this evening? But probably the best one that I've ever had by email, a lady said she'd broken a man's pelvis. Yeah, it was a one-night stand, she was on top, he was screaming, she thought he was having a marvellous time. But my favourite one in a show, the lady said she'd broken a man's spirit. I think we've all done that from time to time. I broke my vibrator once, that counts, right? And normally when I break things, I give them to me dad to fix. I can't do that. So I just whacked it off the bedside cabinet and I got it going again. It's not really a joke, that one. It's just a tip for the ladies. Thanks for watching. But I like living on my own. Does anybody else live on their own? Give us a wave if you live on your own. We've got a nice lady here. What's your favourite thing about living on your own, love? The telephone. I like that you did that. Just in case, it's just the north I live in. It's not, the dark ages. The telephone. Why did somebody not let you have a telephone in the old days when you lived with other people, you poor bugger? Did you live under the stairs? In what way, the telephone? So I can speak to people, she said. No, I know what a telephone's for, love. It's going to be one of those nights, isn't it? Who else lived on their own? Give us another wave. Hello, Flower. Nice lady at the back there. What do you like about living on your own, love?
Walking around naked.
Walking around naked. Here's a confident woman. I've got a friend who lives on her own. I said, what's your favourite thing about living on your own? She said, whenever I do a massive fart, I go, good girl. You can have that if you like. Lady at the back, is it a flat or a house that you've got?
Flat.
A flat. And if somebody broke into your flat while you were in it, what would you hit them with? Have you thought this through?
Not so much.
No, well, let's have a think now. If you're like... We've got a fixer. If you're like in the living room, for example, is there something to hand that you could clobber somebody with? A remote control, you see. Multi-purpose. I can watch whatever telly I like and I can fucking hit somebody. No, because I asked a lady recently and she didn't know either, and I said, what's normally to hand? And she went, empty bottles. I said, I don't even think you'd notice if somebody broke in. I don't care who you are. Shut the door on your way out. So I can feel a fucking draft. My friend's got a round desk bat down the side of her bed. For protection. But she's been told by a policeman that that's not allowed. It's classed as an offensive weapon. The only way she's allowed to have a round desk bat down the side of her bed is if it's accompanied by something it would normally accompany. So now she's got a round desk bat and a round desk ball as well. And I'm the same, because I've got a massive knife and a massive fork. So if somebody breaks in with a big lump of steak, I'm champion. But I found recently that I'm not very good at relaxing. I get quite wound up. I'm on the go all the time. I'm a bit of a workaholic, to be honest. And when I get in from work, wherever I've been, I'm rubbish at that winding down bit before you go to bed. I'm quite interested in how other people relax. A nice fella in the front. Hello, fella. How do you relax when you get in from wherever you spend your days? Is there something that you always do to help you wind down?
Probably sit down, watch TV.
You sit down. That's a good start, isn't it? Just sit down. Oh, I'm relaxed. And you watch a bit of telly. What time do you normally put the telly on?
About 6.
About 6. You see, anything from 6 onwards, it's quite good for a few hours, isn't it? Quite good telly then. When I get in from work, it can be anything from midnight to 4 in the morning. So unless I've remembered to record something, I'm stuck with fucking Babe Station. Babe Station. If you don't know what Babe Station is, it's a soft porn channel where on the screen is a relatively uneducated lady, I'm guessing, and she's on the phone, and across the bottom of the screen is a telephone number that you can ring, presumably to talk to her for sexual reasons, although I don't think there are any rules that say you can't ring her up and chuck her a couple of sums and see how she gets on. I'd probably just give her careers advice, because I used to work for the job centre. I'd be like, oh, you're very good on the phones. You could work for Orange. They used to people ringing up and moaning. So we've got a bit of telly watching from the fella at the front. Thank you very much. What about nice fella there in the nice blue shirt? What would you do to relax?
Take the dog for a walk.
You take the dog for a walk. So is it the exercise or the fresh air or a combination of the two?
Fresh air in London, yeah. It's the
Fresh air in London. Oh, yes, I forgot. Do you have to wear a little mask, do you? No. Do you just go under a certain level and then you're all right? What time do you go walking with a dog? Is it tea time?
4 o'clock.
Tea time.
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. The specifics aren't that important, love. We'll come back to me in a minute, don't worry. 3 o'clock, so that's afternoon. Because I used to go, like years ago, I used to go running. I know, fuck off, it's hard to believe. Didn't last very long. But I used to go running around the park, but really early on, because there's a window that you can go, because it has to be before everybody gets up to go to work, because they're the people that point and laugh. But after the dog walkers, because they're always the ones that find the bodies, aren't they? It is, isn't it? It's always that. It's always, oh, found by a dog walker. Thank fuck I went out after them. So we've got a bit of walking the dog. What else do we do to relax? Let's get people shouting out.
Self-gratification.
Okay, do you just tell yourself you're brilliant, or do you have a wank? And have we got anybody in who's done anything really risky? Anybody who's done a bungee jump? Yeah, fella there's done a hello flower. How many bungee jumps have you done? 1. What's the reason you've only done 1? You were drunk. You were drunk when you did a bungee jump. How was that even allowed? In Gran Canaria. Oh, you do that like, oh, it's Gran Canaria. Everybody's pissed there, man. There was a fella the other day who'd only done the one, and I said, what's the reason you've only done one? Thinking it might be because, it's expensive. Maybe that was it. And he went, no, it's because I shot myself. And then the next night I had a lady who'd only done one, and I thought, I better know the answer to this question. She said, no, I didn't shit myself. She said, I did do a fanny fart all the way down. But I also had an incredibly cautious lady in the audience recently sitting right in the middle in the front row, and she said, I'm a dodgem. And I said, example? And she said, do you check under your bed? I said, no, because I'm not fucking 7. She said she'd seen an episode of CSI. Oh yeah, it's all based on fact. She'd seen an episode of CSI where the murderer had hidden from his victim by hiding underneath the bed. And not in a normal way, but actually clinging to the underside of the bed. And I said, so you were worried about finding a man under your bed? And she went, yeah. And I said, and what would you have done if you had found a man under your bed? She said, I've got no idea, I'm a lesbian. And we had somebody else upstairs. Do you want to shout it again?
A lightsaber. It was a nerd sort of impulse buy.
A nerd impulse buy. And you've got your reasons already ready, haven't you? Why don't you think... You think I would think it was a bad thing? It sounds fucking awesome. Now, it's not a real one, though.
No.
So what happens when you press... It can't shoot out, but what... Stop it. Somebody's laughing over there, behind there.
It's 3D printed.
It's 3D printed? No offence, mate, but it sounds shit. Does it turn on then? I don't really understand anything about 3D printers. Does it turn on?
It's more of a display piece.
Oh, a display piece? We're picturing your flat now, aren't we? Have you got anything else on display?
I don't know, ask her.
Ask her? I mean, we're all surprised you've got a girlfriend. Actually, I can't say it. Might be his mum. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? I love that you bought yourself a lightsaber. Well fucking done. Round of applause for the Star Wars fan. Good work. Upstairs. Middle section. Anybody want to shout out something you did in a moment of madness?
Got a hot tub.
Oh, you see, have the confidence. A couple of people upstairs, all of a sudden, bah, 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 bah. There's somebody over here. Shout it again.
Got a hot tub.
You got a hot tub?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you? So, how many people does it sit?
4.
4. You know that, don't you? As well, you've had.
Friends round. Oh no, just the neighbours.
I got it from Lidl. I went in for milk.
You got it from Lidl and you only went in for milk. That's incredible. You should be on the advert for Lidl. They come in for milk, go home with, somewhere to have sex with your neighbours. Is this your partner?
Single.
You're single. He's definitely had people in that hot tub, hasn't he? Do you just sometimes sit in it on your own?
Do you know all my friends get in it? I don't.
I don't believe him, do we? No. I've got a question for you. I genuinely don't know the answer to this. In a hot tub, maybe everybody else can answer. I suspect you know, but maybe other people know as well. In a hot tub, does jizz, mix in? I don't know. Does it mix in, or does it go stringy, goldfish poos? Go in with a little, a tiddly net and just try and catch it. Yeah, tell me.
As you would say, it gets claggy.
It gets claggy. I love that you know, and you're acknowledging that you know. Well, I hope you meet somebody very soon you can sit in your hot tub with. Round of applause for the lovely fella. Thank you. Anybody else in the middle section shout out something you did in a moment of madness?
Hello, Sarah.
Hello. Are we just having a chat, or have you got an answer to the fucking question, Flower?
No, every day during lockdown I tried to have a £2 poo.
Every day during lockdown, you tried to have a £2 poo. What I want to know is who was paying you, Flower? Are you weighing them? Are you photographing them?
No, I just stand there naked, weigh myself.
Oh no, you really mean it. You understand, you all got that, didn't you, from him? That he would weigh himself naked, do a shit, weigh himself naked again. Did you have a chart on the kitchen wall? Get a little star, little brown star. Was it a brown star? Brown star stickers are quite hard to come by. Is this your wife beside you who looks appalled? Over here?
Very interesting.
Say that again.
This is Ruth. She loved me telling her every morning that I failed.
You can't all see her, but she's like this.
I managed it 2 weeks ago.
You married her 2 weeks ago?
No, I managed a £2 poo.
Oh, you managed a £2? Two people cheered and they were definitely men.
Got a new project. I've got a new project.
Well, I'm very proud of you. Congratulations on your new hobby, Flower. Round of applause for the poo wear. Have we got single people in tonight? Give us a woo if you're single. We got couples in? More of you, but not as enthusiastic. We got a couple at the front. How long have you two been together?
30 years.
30 years. Well, some places that would have got a round of applause. Everybody just went, fucking hell. It was just a lovely noise, like a, oh. Can we see if we can do it again? I've never heard 3,500 people do that noise. See if we can do it after 3. 1, 2, 3. 30 years, well done. And we've got you're quite a new couple. How long have you two been together? 4 months. 4 months. Oh, you're clapping that one. Well done, 4 months. 30 years, fuck you. I've been with my fella for 6 years, and it's going really well. A friend of mine, though, recently fell in love, even more recently than you two. They've been together about a month, and they're adorable. She'd been single for a couple of years, that means that little bit more to her, you know. And they're so lovely, they're so adorable, like to watch, you know. No. I mean when I'm with them. I don't mean like this. She shut her bedroom curtains, what a slag. But she said to me that whenever she sees him, she gets sweaty palms. Isn't that lovely? It's adorable, isn't it? 4 months together, what other signs of love do you think there are apart from sweaty palms? Give us a suggestion, what do you think?
I miss her a lot when I'm not with her.
You miss her when you're not with her? I can't take the piss out of that. I really want to, but I can't. You really miss her. Oh, that's so adorable. And 30 years together, but your palms are bone dry, are the Flower? What are the signs of love? We could clearly learn a lot from 30 years together. It's very, very impressive. What do you reckon? What are the signs of love?
A kiss before you go to bed.
A kiss before you go to bed.
If I get home and she hasn't changed the lock.
If you get home and she hasn't changed the lock. I love the power balance between you two. You just want a kiss of him. He's worried he's never going to see you again. Or any of his things, or CDs, or anything. Just bye. That's, bless you. That's weird, but nice. Let's open it up to the rest of you guys. What about upstairs? What are the signs of love? Do we think we've got sweaty palms, we've got missing each other, we've got a kiss before bed? Whereabouts was the kiss? Lips. All right, okay. Don't. They're making us say it top or bottom. laptop, that's fine. And not being locked out. Or, well, forever, permanently. What other signs of love upstairs do we think? Leaving the toilet door open. For everything or just number ones? Oh, you just keep the conversation going? So, I mean, I said to him, just give us a minute, love. I'm just gonna, That is that love? That's gross, is what that is, I think. Thank you, Flower. Any other ones from upstairs? Signs of love? Did you say depression? Where are you? Give us a wave. Are you upstairs? Right at the back there, love. Wow, you were louder than me and I've got a microphone. Are you in a relationship in the minute, Flower? Does that mean you're happy at the minute? Yeah. Sounds thrilled, doesn't it? Yeah. What are the ones from upstairs? Butterflies is a lovely one. That's really nice. Thank you, Flower. There was a fella the other day trying to say, but I think he was trying to say butterflies. What he actually said was, sometimes I get a fizzy feeling down below. What about downstairs? What other signs of love do we think? Say that again? Keeping out of trouble. Did you get into a lot of trouble pre-relationship, Pet? What was that? It was a shit relationship. Oh, are they with you tonight? Is this the way you break up with somebody? Just wait till an appropriate question comes up at a comedy show. Been meaning to tell you for ages. It's a shit relationship. And we had another answer over here. Didn't quite catch it. Did somebody say chlamydia? I've got a present for you, love. It's a hospital appointment. Chlamydia. Any other ones from downstairs? What was that? Presents. Where are you? You money grabbing whore? Now, probably the easiest way to chat to you guys is to kind of break you up into upstairs and downstairs as you already are. So let's do upstairs. Anybody in the upstairs section, give us a woo if you've seen something good in nature. Oh, quite a few. Okay. Oh, one over here. There's a group of you over here. Any of you guys who wooed over here, shout out what you saw. You saw a whale? Do you know what kind of whale? A minke whale. Is that a thing? Yes. Okay, thanks, lady. They're very confidently went, yes, you fucking idiot. Yes. I know some ladies call that their minke. So I genuinely didn't know if that was a heckle or not. You minke whale. I thought it was just posh for fat cunt. I really did. I really did. Where did you see the minke whale? She says on the stage, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Where did you see it, my love? In the English Channel. Is it not a very big whale then? Like, meters? 41. Can you do it in foot, love? How many feet? Does anybody know how much 3 meters is in feet? 10. Thank you. Look at that. There's no prizes, but if there was, you'd get one. 10. That's still quite big then. Were you on a boat? Were you in the water? What was the situation? On a boat. That wasn't too scary. No. Okay, good. Thank you for your minke whale. Give us another woo upstairs if you've got an answer. Yeah, one over here. Give us a wave. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Hello, love. What did you see?
While I was on safari in South Africa, I saw a family of elephants around our safari vehicle.
Wow, okay. First of all, I love that you told a story because... No. Because sometimes people will shout out the whole story in one. One guy just shouted out, 3 dogs fucking in a row. What? And then other people go, it was a lovely day. I was wearing my favourite blouse. You're like, come on, move it along. So you were on safari. Where did you say you were on safari? In South Africa. And a family of elephants surrounded your safari vehicle. In a menacing way or in a hi kind of way? Were you scared?
It was very thrilling.
Thrilling. Was it so thrilling you shat your pants? I think I would have shat my pants, but I've got IBS. I might be doing it now. Who knows? Thank you very much. Great story, Flower. Thank you. Let's do downstairs. Give us a woo downstairs if you've seen something good in nature. At the back there, somebody waving the hand. What did you see?
Bengal eagle owl.
A Bengal eagle owl. It's 2 different things, isn't it? Was it an eagle or was it an owl? Make your mind up, Flower. So is that that's presumably a kind of owl as opposed to a kind of eagle. So it's an eagle-flavoured owl. Where did you see that, love? It was in a bird sanctuary. Is that nature? If they're technically in prison, is that nature? How big is it? Show us with your hands. About that? That's a decent size. Were you in the enclosure with it or just watching through the prison bars? Was it exciting to see?
I was holding it.
You were holding it with one of them oven gloves on, one of them. They do that. I'm going to Google that because I'd like to see what that looks like. It sounds magnificent. Thanks very much, love. Anybody else downstairs? Or what about over here? Over here? Anybody over here? Right in the front. What did you see, love? Baby dolphin. Oh, where were you when you saw the baby dolphin?
In Jamaica on a honeymoon.
Oh, you were on your honeymoon in Jamaica. How lovely. And was the baby dolphin with other dolphins?
Yeah, I was diving. It was purely...
You were diving?
we were diving. It was purely by chance, and they were taking it out to sea for the first time in the family.
So they were taking... Somebody over here is laughing because he was on his honeymoon and he was diving. That's what you're laughing at, isn't it? All of the rest of you are being really respectful and listening to nice man, and she's like, fannies, To be fair, it's what you've come to expect from watching me on stage. Fair enough, I get it. And it was... So the baby one was being taken back out to sea? Not just with its family, though? Yeah, not just fuck off, move out. You're a fucking drain, you don't need to pay any board, no. And how big was it? How big is a baby dolphin? I don't know.
I don't know. I suppose about that.
About that? Are they as smiley as they look on the television? I've never seen a dolphin.
I was too busy shitting myself.
You were too busy shitting yourself. But isn't that good for the wetsuit? Isn't that what oh no, that's wee, isn't it? They don't tell you to shit yourself in a wetsuit, do they? If you can get some diarrhea going, it really keeps you lovely and warm. Just don't let it come out the cuffs or the neck. Anybody else downstairs? Lady with a lovely lipstick on. Hello. Oh, look, she went like this. Oh, me. What did you see, my love?
A seagull nicking my best mate's Nando's.
A seagull nicking your best mate's Nando's. And we come right crashing back down to Brighton, don't we? Thank you. There was a lady recently said that she had a bird table and it was constantly being... the squirrel family were constantly eating everything off the bird table and chasing the birds away, which was upsetting her. So what she did, in her brilliance, she buttered the bird table. And then she said for the rest of the week, she just watched some squirrels pole dance. We had one man who'd seen an owl, a baby owl in the road. And he pulled over and he decided it was poorly, not dead, and decided he was going to try and take it home and take it somewhere the next day to look after it. So he balanced it on his lap for a bit of warmth while he was driving along. It started to come round, so he put it smartly, moved it across to the passenger seat. And then it fully came round, and he realised in that split second that he had a live owl in an enclosed space. And it continued to lacerate his face and arms to the point where he had to open the window and just throw the fucking thing out. We put various things on the bird table. We put fat balls on it. Fat balls. Just really like saying it. Fat balls. Say it after 3. 1, 2, 3. Sounds a bit like an old nickname of an ex-boyfriend, doesn't it?
Well, I guess who I saw down Asda's on Tuesday, fucking fat balls.
A few months ago, I decided to go for a bra fitting. Give us a woo if you've ever been for a bra fitting. Give us a woo if you did not enjoy it. Exactly the same people again. It's a very odd experience, isn't it? In a second, I'll give you an opportunity should you want to shout out and tell me what it was you didn't like about your bra fitting. But let me give you a couple of examples to start you off. There was a lady a few months ago, I said, what didn't you like about your bra fitting? And she shouted out cold hands, and I get it, because cold hands aren't very pleasant to touch, and they do have to touch you at various times, but I had to think about it, and I think I prefer cold hands to warm hands. Warm hands kind of ick me out. Warm hands imply to me that they've been doing this. Ooh. Ooh, Sheila, I've seen me 10 o'clock, I cannot wait. Ooh. There's a lady not long ago, I said, what didn't you like about your bra fitting? She shouted out, it was embarrassing. I said, of course it's embarrassing, Flower, but I said, was there one moment that was worse than the rest? She said, oh yes, when I took my bra off, 2 bits of popcorn fell out. Now, probably the easiest way to talk to you guys is to kind of talk to you in a kind of upstairs and kind of downstairs. That probably makes a bit of sense. And maybe if we do kind of this half, if I'm the centre point, let's do this half as one side, this half as the other, and we'll do upstairs and then downstairs. Does that sound all right? Yeah, okay. Anybody on this side, upstairs, and on this side, want to shout out and tell me what you didn't like about your bra fitting? There was a lady somewhere here. Give us a wave. Who said, yeah, what did you say, my love?
I was disappointed.
You were disappointed? And also, your accent is the best accent to be disappointed in. I was disappointed. Why were you disappointed, my love?
It was a woman.
It was a woman. She's clapping herself, I love that. She's clapping herself. That was really funny. I was really funny just then. Were you expecting a good groping? Was that what you were wanting? You were, weren't you? Oh my God. There was a lady shouted out quite recently. She said that it was a male bra fitter, and we were all really shocked. The whole audience were like, oh my God. And I said, which shop was that? Because I thought, let's find out. And all the women were like ready to write it down. And a man in a totally different part of the room went, my shop. Anybody else on this side?
Wonky boobs.
Give us a wave. Where are you? There you are, right in the front. Hello, my love. What did you say?
Wonky boobs.
Wonky boobs. Is this a heckle? No. No. Just checking. You never know in this section. You never know. Wonky boobs.
She pointed out that one is
She pointed out.
larger than the other.
She pointed out that one. What is some? I love the use of the word somewhat larger than the other, but on everybody's. Yes. Did she do the traditional test? I don't know if you know. There's a traditional test for finding out which is your bigger one. I don't know if you know this. That's it. And that is a joke, and if anybody does that to you, and you have not given them permission, go to the fucking police. Thanks very much, my love. Anybody else over this side? What about over this side? Oh, yes, give us a wave. What did... The style?
She was older than me. She wanted
She was... I'm just letting everybody else know. She was older than you. How much older was she than you? A couple of decades?
Try 3.
3 decades older than you? And how old are you roughly? Don't tell us just decades. Don't tell us. You don't have to tell us properly, but like 40s, 50s, what are you? 30s?
54.
54. She was 84. Did she try and fit you with a sanitary belt as well, did she? Thank you very much. There was a lady here. Was it lady in the glasses there? Hello, my lovely. What happened to you, my love?
It was roasted in Marx's and they made me wait. And then in the end, they passed the tape measure round and I was clammy.
It was roasting in Marx's. That was the first part of the story. And then you were clammy. Yeah, did she comment on the clamminess? Did the tape measure just, like, stick? That's what I would worry about. Like, oh, you're never going to get this back for how it stuck to me under boobs. Hasn't been dry under there since fucking April. Fact. Thank you very much, Philip. Over this side? Anybody over this side? What you didn't like about your bra fitting? Slang. Give us a wave. There you, oh, you're right here. What, the slang? What slang did she use?
She said, you're between a gosh and a golly gosh.
She said you're between a gosh and a golly gosh. Are you sure it was a professional bra fitter? Anybody else?
They told me there were no bras for me in all of Marks and Spencer's.
They told you there were no bras for you, like in the whole shop. Nothing for you. And was that because you're too big, too small? What was the reason?
I had no idea.
You don't know? She didn't tell you. She just said, none for you. And you went, okay. Are you? I know it's. I can't quite see. You got a dog top on. Are you excessively big, excessively small? No.
No, average. She'll tell you.
It's average. Nothing wrong with that. Oh, she's. Yeah. Are you related?
No.
No. Oh, you just pointed at another lady's boobs and said average. You don't know each other. You've just met tonight. And you think her boobs are average. No bras for you. I can see why she said it. No bras for you. Chopsy fuck. Thank you. There was somebody at the back, I think. Shout again.
They said they'd only got one bra, so I took a couple in.
They said, hold on. The shop said they only had one bra. Maybe you got there too late. You've got one left. You're going to have to fit it. It's all we've got. There's a blonde lady behind you. We're going to have to turn her away. They said they've only got one bra.
The only one that'll fit you is
the only one that'll fit you was a Doreen. I really apologise if there's anybody called Doreen in the room. But it's not what you want your bra to be called, is it? They only had a Doreen. Did you try the Doreen on?
Yes, but it only comes in flesh.
It only comes in flesh. Do you mean flesh coloured? Or do you mean only comes in actual flesh? Was it part of a woman called Doreen? Oh, I'll have the flesh coloured one. Oh, it really smells. I didn't know. Did anybody else know that they named them after ladies? Yes, some of you did. A gosh, a golly gosh, and a Doreen. We've fucking learnt a lot tonight, haven't we? Anybody else on this side? You forgot to cut your hairy nipples. Oh, I fucking love women. I love women so much. I bet you haven't told your closest friends that, but you'll tell all of us. And what happened? Did the lady comment on it or not? She gave him a little stroke. Oh, gosh, she didn't. Do you want me to plait that for you? Thank you very much. There was another one over here. Give us a wait. There you are. Hello. What happened to you, my love? She had to get a second opinion. What was it she wasn't sure? Why am I doing this? I'm so sorry. This is so offensive. I'm so sorry. What was it that she didn't understand that she needed to get checked?
She thought I had a third nipple.
She thought you had a third nipple? Well, what fucking business is that of hers? Unless you need a bra for the third one, she should fuck off. And did you know this? Was this a surprise to you?
Well, I'd been eating bran flakes for breakfast.
You'd been eating bran flakes? people then? So she went and got some. Had you picked it off in the meantime? You waited to see what her reaction would be. Oh my God, that is hilarious. Yeah, I think she deserves a round of applause. Oh God. Oh, well done, Birmingham. That was excellent. Jesus. In fact, should we give everybody a round of applause who joined in? Oh, yeah. I've got IBS. Give us a woo if you've got IBS. Give us a woo if you've got the kind that means you never shit. And there. Give us a woo if you've got the kind that means you shit all the time. Always on the aisle. Did you hear that? They're always on the aisle. Got to be ready to go anytime. That's the one that I've got. I'd high five you guys, but my hands are still a bit wet from before. What I've got is just quite an unsophisticated digestive system. Basically, when I eat a meal, it kind of pushes the last one out. It essentially means I shit a lot in restaurants. I was in a restaurant not long ago. I went to the ladies' loo after my meal, and in the ladies' loo were a couple of really young girls, like 20, 22, that sort of age, and they were up at the mirrors, reapplying their lipstick, chatting about boys. And I thought, oh God, I hope you leave soon. Because there's about to be a cacophony. I always liken it to like a fireworks display, because it always starts off like... And then dogs start barking because they don't like it. Children must always stand well back. And the golden rule is you must never return to it. But I always think if I ever ran a building or a venue or anywhere where there were toilets that were accessed by the public, I'd do people like me and those people who would. I'd do people like us a favour. I'd have some music going through those toilets, maybe a little brass band in the corner. A little umpire band, perhaps. And at Christmas, little drummer boy on a loop. Pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. Actually, just before last Christmas, like the day before Christmas Eve, I was in Boots and I bought myself some anisole cream and some Rennies. And the woman on the till was very much in the Christmas spirit. And as she put them in the bag, she went, enjoy! Hello, I'm Sarah Millican, and my brand new show, Late Bloomer, is out now to stream and download from my website, sarahmillican.co.uk. It's also available on DVD.